What happened to MMOs? These days I find it hard to focus, and just thinking about what I want to do every day feels like it's not enough when I'm surrounded by so much external quick gratification. It's like no matter what I try, nothing truly holds my attention, and it got me thinking about MMOs, the good old days. I still remember being a kid in elementary school and discovering my very first online game. It was this little weird gem called Yville, and honestly, it was the weirdest thing I've ever seen. I could earn items in game, talk to strangers from all across the world, and yeah, I even got my first online girlfriend back then. It felt like an escape from reality. At least that's what I thought, until one day my friend introduced me to a game called World of Warcraft. Like so many, my first time logging into WoW was absolutely mind-blowing. What's funny is I don't even remember how I got started. No memory of buying the physical box or even picking up the first game time card. All I remember was sitting down, logging in, and making my first character, a Night Elf Warrior. And that was it. I was hooked. Life wasn't exactly easy back in 2006 as a kid. I didn't really understand what was going on, but I knew things were tough for my family. World of Warcraft became a refuge, and for months I didn't even get past level 12. And I remember even grinding one of my warriors straight to level 41 off of just killing mobs. I don't even remember really doing much quests. But for the most part, I'd just keep making new characters, exploring Azeroth, and talking about the game at school with anyone who played. And that's just it. All I wanted to do was play morning, noon, and night. Then everything came crashing down. The 2008 financial crisis hit, and suddenly buying more game time wasn't really an option. I was devastated. That feeling of isolation, of not being able to escape back into that magical world, stuck with me. Around that time, I started exploring the internet more, desperately looking for something to fill that void. I played games on addictinggames.com and even wandered onto some sketchy sites, searching for my next escape. But nothing ever came close to WoW. I realized pretty quickly that I didn't even want to play console games anymore. They just couldn't compare to the feeling of being part of a massive living world with other players. So I went hunting for MMOs. I tried games like Fluff, Allods Online, and even Pirates of the Caribbean Online, along with a handful of other obscure non-US based games. None of them gave me that feeling I was chasing. And if you're thinking about RuneScape, I did play it, it just didn't click for me. And then one day at school, a friend suggested Guild Wars. He was on the same boat as me, missing the sense of community and adventure and the magical world that was Azeroth. So I went home, begged my mom to buy it, and she actually did, which was quite surprising, but her reason was this actually didn't have a subscription, so it would have been easier to manage. But my biggest memory of it is that I hated it. It felt so different and so odd compared to WoW. With that in mind, I did revisit it years later and I realized it wasn't as bad as I remembered, but it just wasn't for me. Eventually the day came years later where I would finally be able to play WoW again. It was during this time Cataclysm was about to launch, and I also got my first max level character. I didn't really know what I was doing, but it was a fun ride. And while I did enjoy it, something still felt off. It wasn't the same. It felt more like a chore than an escape. And by the time Warlords of Draenor came around, it felt even worse. I remember forcing myself to play, convincing myself it would get better. And it wasn't until Legion that everything finally hit. That spark ignited again, and the sense of adventure I've been missing for years rushed back to me, and I was so happy. Now, I've played through nearly every expansion since then, from retail to classic to private servers. I've tried countless other MMOs, cycling in and out of them, but nothing really ever reinvigorates that spark. And if it does, it lasts for a short amount of time. What I've also noticed is that when I do find something that gives me this feeling, it motivates me so much in life and propels me forward in whatever I choose to do. But as of now, there's nothing. And maybe that's okay. Times have changed and so have I, but I won't give up. I still believe there's something out there waiting to capture that magic again. Whether it's a game that can immerse me in a world beyond my wildest dreams, or something in life that makes me feel complete. Until then, I'll keep searching.